This week on The Loud Quiet, traveling with adult kids in the empty nest.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Loud Quiet. We are back in the studio.
This is what it looks like.
Thanks for letting us do a greatest hits episode, and we hope you enjoyed the episode last week with Michelle. That one was a really fun one to do. Today we want to talk about travel, and specifically traveling with your adult kids. You guys know how much we love to travel, and so many of our stories in our book are about traveling that first year. So again, our book is out. You can get your free bonuses now with the book. So head on over to theloudquiet.com. You can find how to get your book and those free bonuses there. But we wanted to talk about, we just got back from a trip from Spain with our two kids, and we thought it'd be fun to talk about how it's a little different now traveling with adult age kids.
Yeah, because growing up with your kids, all the stories of traveling to the different places that you might with kids, they're the ones in tow. They're the ones you're dragging along. It's a different kind of dynamic when you've got adults that are making their own choices and have their own desires. And it's, well, both pros and cons, fun and different and all that.
So why do you think traveling with your kids at any age, I would say, at any age, because we have been traveling with our kids since, literally since they were
diapers.
Yeah. And
like the little diapers,
like baby diapers.
Yeah.
Yes. Tanner's first trip to the Caymans was when he was a baby. And why do you think traveling with your kids is important?
Oh my gosh. What you just said right there. Oh my gosh. Do you remember traveling to the Cape? A memory comes flooding back of, it was great to travel with him at that age because you could plop him down in this little raft, but it was on the sand and just, he had fun, we had fun. And it's that memory. And I think that's one of the biggest things when it comes to traveling, why we have valued travel as a couple and as a family with growing up kids, and now as a family with adult kids, is those shared memories that you build.
Yeah.
We are still laughing about trips that happened years or decades ago, and that connection that comes from those memories kind of cements that family dynamic together.
He doesn't remember those trips, and there's trips that she doesn't remember either, but we do, and we can show them photos. Whereas when we have given them a gift, most of those toys that they've gotten or things they've gotten even as older are gone, but those photos are there. I was telling you that just the other day, Tegan and I were over at my parents' and we were telling them about our trip, and my mom and brother had gone to the casino. And so we were talking about people on scooters. And Tegan and I immediately said, well, we're going to Germany. Well, that is from a trip to Disney that was eons ago, but it both popped into our head, and none of y'all will understand what that means, but that is a shared family saying that comes out all the time. And so, yes, it's those little things that, and we laughed so much on this trip at just dumb stuff.
Well, I think that's why it's even becoming more important as adult kids, because when you've got your kids in the house, you're building memories all over the place, and with, especially now that we've got one kid that is truly out of the house, and we've got one that returns in between university breaks, finding the moments to develop those shared memories gets harder outside of the context of travel.
Now that they are adults, we booked 3 rooms everywhere we went so that they could each have their own room. It cracked me up. We would come downstairs in the morning and we would all be color coordinated.
That was creepy.
We would all look at each other and no one talked about what they were wearing. Now, then I would say, well, I did buy most of these clothes that everyone has.
Our personal shoppers shop for all of us.
So, and I do that. I tend to, when we're going on a trip, especially when we're going to a specific place, like, okay, Spain. I think linen. I think
You really are our
aesthetically.
stylists.
So I did purchase some things. Now, some things were just people brought out of their closet, but it was hilarious that, and even some days, Tanner and Tegan would be matching, and you and I would be. I mean, it cracked me up.
All right, so I mentioned the shared memories aspect of it, and there's so many more that we could to laugh about. What about you? Why do you think travel is important with adult kids?
Well, I think it teaches them how to respect other cultures, especially when you're going to places outside of your own country,
Yeah.
which if you can do that with your children, I highly advise it because it does teach them how to be a visitor in another place.
Right.
I think that is really, really important.
Yeah, that use of the word visitor, I think, is good there because it's not that you're abandoning who you are.
No.
It's not that you're saying, I suddenly am not who I came to this culture as, but it's being respectful of the culture that you're in. And in case like in Spain, well, a Spanish culture is pretty darn similar to a U.S. culture. It's Western, but when we've traveled to Asia or to other places, the culture can be dramatically different. And yes, it was even in Spain where there were elements of things that we might choose to do and the way that we operate as Americans doesn't quite fit into the way
Yes,
their culture
eating
is.
dinner at 10 o'clock at night is not something that, that I do, but
No, I
we
don't wanna
adapted.
have that fight again.
We adapted to it.
I'm the one that enjoys those later dinners. And even just bringing up the topic of, what would it be like if we did that here created quite a vibrant discussion
Absolutely
between
not.
us. Well, and it's a chance to just teach your values because we have always kind of had that sort of, hey, love everybody. We're all humans together. We're different humans, and it's okay to be different. It's a chance for us to teach those values without us dictating those values. The kids just experience those values through travel.
And there was an incident that happened in the Familia Sagrada that two grown adult boys who were probably a little bit between Tanner and Tegan's age, probably closer to Tegan's age. So, probably college age kids.
They look college, yeah.
That did something very inappropriate, and Tanner was very bothered by it, and he should have been very bothered by it. And they just could not believe that people would act that way and do what they did. And yeah, it just shows that someone was not there to guide them along the way and teach them how to behave in other people's places.
And that's a couple of kids being knuckleheads and not respecting, not only respecting a culture, but respecting the building and the sanctity of the building that it was itself. Yeah, knuckleheads exist in all cultures. So this isn't some sort of, don't be the ugly American. It's kind of just don't be the ugly human.
Yeah,
and travel helps you learn how not to be the ugly human. One of the values that I think all parents, I know it's important to us, and I imagine all parents when you're thinking about launching your kids is you want them to develop skills and independence. Well, I got to tell you, travel is a development of skills and especially independence on steroids. There are decisions to be made. There are disruptions that occur. There are lessons that get taught, even if they are not planned lessons, that I think travel really helps, especially for adult kids, because when they're the younger kids, they might not even be paying attention. They're just along for the ride, and mommy and dad solve it. But what our kids watching us have to solve, okay, we want to get back from Toledo. What do you mean all of the trains are sold out from Toledo? How are we getting back to Madrid? And maybe not solving it in the best or most efficient way. Help them learn some lessons. Hey, little tip for everybody. Do not take the buses from Toledo anywhere. That's kind of like the DMV of Toledo. It was something special when we went to the bus station.
God bless Uber. Anyway, and being able to do Uber. Yes, it does. And again, we have chosen travel over some other things gift wise for our kids growing up. And because we did want to teach them these skills and independence, we got back from Spain. 6 days later, Tegan hopped on a flight to California by herself. You know, I had no qualms about her navigating any of that because she knows how to do it. So,
yeah, it's a quick hug at the airport and see ya.
Yeah, there are several times on our trips now that the kids are like, hey, no, it's over there. You know, they're directing and finding things when we're haven't quite found it yet. Sometimes they're a little quicker than we are on something.
Well, and I think back to all the way back to Hong Kong, and how long ago was that? 8 years? I don't know. It's a ways back there.
Yeah,
where Tanner said, "Hey, I want to go do this thing during the day. Can I go off by myself?"
Yeah, I think he went to the night market actually,
and it was by himself. And at the time, Hong Kong, a fine city to get around. He knew his way. You got phones, all that sort of thing. Well, that was an independence developer with him that now I'm confident that he can travel the globe.
Yeah, and we didn't do that this much this trip, but we have in the past been like, okay, today is your day to guide us around. And we've done that with Tegan, like in New York. Okay, hey, we're going here. You get us there, just to make sure that they can navigate with Google Maps or with whatever and yes, they can. But that is a good tip for those of you who are traveling with kids, to let them be in charge of something, you know, one day, so that you can see how they handle disruptions and how to navigate things.
And we're talking about this from the sense of, you know, how do they handle logistics and all that kind of stuff. Well, it's also kind of nice as the parent to finally kick back and just be taken around somewhere. Oh, is that what you want to do today? Great.
Yeah.
I will follow. And that can be, that little switching of roles can be so wonderful to just kick back and enjoy the ride as the kid leads the way.
And that's, you know, leads us kind of into one of the last things of why traveling with your kids is you bribe them to spend time with you. You know, if you're still footing the bill for it, they will probably want to come.
Funny how that works. Hey, we're planning a trip to X. Oh, that's neat. We'll pay for you. Great. When do we get to go?
So,
you know, the bribery and all of that is so it's so true, and it's so great to be able to spend time. Like, that's why travel has been so important to us with the adult kids.
Now, luckily, I feel like we don't have to bribe our kids to spend time with us. I don't feel like they still want to spend time with us, but there may come a point that we have to do that. So.
Oh, definitely. Well, and it's not even as binary of want to or not want to. It's where do you rank in the priority of the interest and the activity and the time and the schedule. Some of the things that we did there, they really enjoyed. And I think we had spent a lot of time finding these activities, and like everybody else, we are looking for these activities typically by reading reviews and finding things through reviews. And that's something that we'd like to turn to y'all and ask a favor of y'all. If y'all are enjoying the Loud Quiet, would you just hit pause right here and scroll down, especially if you're on Apple Podcasts, and leave a review? We know that that's one of the best ways for people to find this community of empty nesters. It's one of the best ways for folks to learn about the show, is to see what your opinions are of the Loud Quiet. And so if you would head over to any of your favorite podcast app, but especially if you're an Apple Podcast listener, scroll down there, leave a review, and share what your thoughts are about the Loud Quiet.
Yeah, we appreciate that. So now let's move into what has travel looked like, and what do we think it's going to look like in the future? How is it going to change? Because
it's not going to change at all. It's going to be exactly the same. It's going to be the four of us having these delightful trips together with only fights every other day.
There weren't too many fights. There weren't. I wouldn't call them fights. When you put
anybody together, doesn't matter how deep the love is, for 10 days, there are going to be disagreements and irritations.
Here's what I will say. Our children do not walk as many steps as we do a day, or, you know, work out to the degree that we do a day. So I think they were pushed a little some days, that they were like, oh my gosh, are we ever going to stop walking
Yeah.
or moving.
Okay, but I like how you point out the kids, and yes, there's that part. But you and I would find things to get irritated with about each other.
Well, sure. Yes.
We had disagreements over a 30-minute difference in a restaurant reservation. And but it's real. It's not diminishing it. But yes, we got into a tiff over whether dinner was going to be 7:30 or 8 o'clock.
So.
Oh, you so want to go?
No, I don't even remember. I don't even remember what that was about. Anyways.
But it is funny how you spend that time together. You love that the shared memories. Sometimes some of the fights can be some of the good shared memories too. I'm going to laugh about that one.
I think by the end of the trip, everyone is a little bit, even though we did have separate rooms, everyone is, you're with everyone all day long. So yes, it is a lot. I needed a break from all of you people.
I think many of us felt the same way.
No.
Brought to you by the loving dynamic of the loud quiet. So what has travel looked like, and what is it going to look like going forward?
Well, I think, before, when the kids were younger, we just planned a trip and they were not involved at all. Like, we knew the times that we could go. We did it based off of our calendar and the school calendar, but what we didn't, and they're obviously athletic calendars, but now this one was very much, okay, when do you start work? When do you get done with finals? When are you going to be back from, we had really literally 10 days that we could squeeze this in, and that is when we did. That was it. We had a time in May and we had a time in August, and thank goodness we picked the May one in the end, because the August one wouldn't have worked out anyways, because
we would have melted.
August would have been miserable in Spain. Yes.
I think I would have thought that when we moved into adult kid travel that we would be less constrained by the kids' schedule. Like, I think that would have been an assumption that I had. And thinking about how we planned trips before, you had the whole summer, and kind of in air quotes, because there were parts of it that weren't that. But now that they are adults with their own desires, Tanner had a festival he was going to. Tegan had the school schedule that she was coming back from, and the work that she had, and her California trip. They have now developed independent, as they should, desires and schedules that we're having to navigate almost as equals with them when it comes to the calendar of, if we want to travel together, how do we navigate that? And I think going forward, especially when we talk about growing families through marriages and through kids and what that might look like, the windows for travel and some of the desires that we had are going to find themselves to be even more challenged.
I think maybe when they have their full-time jobs, it might get a little easier before they start having children, because then that opens up a little more flexibility. Right now, we're still tied to somewhat of a school calendar with them, because they are both still in school. Mm-hmm. But I think maybe once those few years that we have when they just have full-time jobs, maybe there'll be a little more flexibility. But who knows? But yes, and we also included them, the past couple of years in, hey, throw out some destinations where people want to go.
Right.
And before, it was you and me picking where we wanted to go.
You will go here, kid, or you will stay home with grandparents.
Yeah.
And some of that is, we listen to their suggestions. We don't always take them. Mm-hmm. No, Tanner, we weren't going to go to Ibiza for our trip this vacation. Man, how many times did we hear the word Ibiza?
A lot. And I actually just sent him something, because there's some, if you live in Dallas, down by where the townhome is and down by where Rick and I used to live is White Rock Lake. And there's some guy that does some Ibiza DJ sets. And so I said to him, I said, look, you can go to Ibiza. He was like, I'll pass. Yeah. So he was like, Mom, come on, we can hop on a flight and go and be back. It's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Well, yes, with adult kids, what travel looks like is they will influence the planning destination, but they will not dictate it.
Yes. All Tegan cared about was that it had good food, and Spain provided that very
Did it
well.
ever, yeah. We're not going to do it this episode, but my gosh, we can. If anyone wants to DM us, we can tell you all the great places and great foods that we ate. We'd be happy to
Yes.
share that with you all. Yeah, another thing that traveling with adult kids going forward that we're starting to see is the real difference between our kids. And the kids have been different all their lives, but as they are becoming the young adults that they are, and as they are cementing their lifetime personalities, man, those differences are showing themselves to be very distinct.
Yes. We have one that would travel for months at a time. We have one that is 7 days and then wants to be back at home. Now, unless
And she even said that.
and she said it, but she said, unless I'm with my friends.
Thanks.
So, thanks.
It is fun. So we will still remain the parents, even if they are the adult kids. I challenge her on that.
Well-
I bet you that she would still have a 7-day or some similar limit, even with friends.
I think also this is a child that wanted to go back to Asia, and we're not ready to go back to Asia yet. And so we picked a different destination that she was not super excited about. And this is also a child who does not love history, does not love. Now, I will say on the tours, she did end up enjoying most of the tours, but by about, the fourth cathedral that you've been in, she was done.
At least they didn't have to hear flying buttress.
There was no, Universal, Super Mario, video game, none of that kind of stuff.
No, her release was the food. And
yeah. And she also enjoyed the Prado, and she liked the Prado Museum and the Picasso Museum because those were things that she recognized. And
oh my gosh, though, let's talk about the Picasso Museum for a second, though. Their path through the Picasso Museum is so different than like an art history majors. She finds
mine too.
Well, all of us. It's just not our jam. But my goodness, the moment that they got to all of his paintings of those
With
pigeons.
Yes.
Yes. That picture that you've got of both of them just staring at the pigeon one. And
they were obsessed with the pigeons.
And Picasso's
and the child with the mumps.
Yes.
That was those were the two.
I do recommend the Picasso Museum.
Yeah.
I recommend, though, going through it like we did.
Yeah.
Because we weren't the most serious about it.
We never are about those things. But, I think she loved Asia. She could do Asia, I think, for many, many more days, especially Japan. She loved Japan. That's just in her wheelhouse, though, so
do you think okay, so I'm sitting here thinking about this. I really do feel like that I could just wash my clothes and keep going. Like I could be on the road for weeks or months on end, especially with the family. I will always miss the family if I'm by myself, like the business trips and all that from the past. I think I could keep going. So I feel like I'm more like Tanner in that regard. What about you?
I don't know. I could not keep going at the pace that we were going.
Oh, right.
I would definitely need, and that's another thing that, we have learned with Tegan. We have to build in a day that's just nothing. We have nothing planned. As much of a routine person as she is, we have to have a day that's kind of just a not filled day.
I know you're saying,
and
Tegan.
I think it's
that's
everybody.
true of all
Yeah,
four
and
of
it's
us.
everybody. And
she might get the label of it.
We ended up filling those days, which I think.
But a slower roll in the morning and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But back to you.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Because no, I'm not going to answer it.
I don't know. I've never been put in that position. I don't know. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know. if we were, I don't know. I don't know how to
I
answer
know how
that.
I think you would be. I don't. I think you've got like a 10-day, 14-day limit in your mind
I
too.
could go a little bit longer than 10 days
Yeah.
because I could have kept going if we had some breaks in between.
Oh
Like
yeah.
this
Yeah.
trip was compact and we pushed it. It was quick paced. I could have, if we slow rolled it a little bit more. No, I could have spent probably 2 weeks.
Okay.
I could have done 2 weeks. If we were going to different countries and that type of thing, I probably could. If we, like I said, slow
Yeah.
rolled, I could not do the let's be gone for 3 months.
Mhm.
But that's also because I miss our children.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to be away from my kids for 3 months.
But that's why the hypothetical I was presenting is almost removing that because I agree with
Well,
you.
you said by yourself.
I was
But
talking about I will miss like I miss the family taking that. If the
yeah,
family is with me, then I could go for months on end. But
yeah,
I couldn't be away from the
yeah.
family that long.
I think 2 weeks is probably my max.
It is interesting to see that evolve even in our kids. So Tanner, as listeners, y'all all know that he has a very serious girlfriend and she's a wonderful part of our lives and we've come to really enjoy her and we were friends with her parents beforehand. This trip, he was missing her. And even to the point that there was one evening that there was an apartment that we had in Sevilla that overlooked the cathedral. It had a great patio out front. So there were evenings that he and I would grab a beer and sit out there. Well, he had at a market found a little cute stationery that had something that was meaningful to his girlfriend. And he had told me, I'm just kind of feeling it. I think I want to write her a letter. And I exited and left him, to do that on his own. None of us know what's in there. But it was so sweet to see him miss,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to miss his
Yeah.
relationships, kind of like you and I are describing missing our family relationships
Mm-hmm.
if we were away that long.
Yeah, and I loved, it in Toledo, we had found this jewelry. They do this handcrafted jewelry, and so we had both decided. I was like, okay, I want a necklace, and he's like, yeah, I really want to get something for Addison. And I mean, he spent time like
Yeah.
really thinking about what he wanted to get her, and we spent time in the shop, and so yeah, I mean, it's and I would have loved for her to come on this trip, but her schedule didn't align and everything, and but it did. You could see that he would have probably really wanted her to be there, and it made me think of
Oh yeah,
you
like
on your Italy trip.
that was a
That
time that I was traveling with my parents in Italy, and I can't calculate it right to know my exact age at the moment, but I was a young adult. I was already in my professional world, and you and I had been dating. We were in a very serious relationship. And it was at dinner and we were in an Italian villa and it was out in Tuscany and we were overlooking this beautiful setting, kind of a valley, and the sun was setting and the wine was great and the food was great. And I thought, I really wish Clancy were here with me. I miss not having her share this experience with me. And it was really sweet to watch what I'm inferring that Tanner was feeling the same thing, that this is a gorgeous setting overlooking a cathedral on a wonderful rooftop penthouse deck that he was missing, that she wasn't able to experience that with him.
Yeah. And so, it just makes me, think and us think, okay, well, soon we're probably going to be adding Addison into our trips, and, which I love. I want to continue traveling to be a part of, I mean, it's always going to be a part of you and me, but I want that to be a part of still the kids and their spouses and their kids,
Yeah.
if we can continue to do that, if schedules allow and everything, I know Tanner will really want that to be an important part of his family's life. And I think Tegan will too. And so I want us to be able to continue that
Huh.
with them, because we really didn't do that much with your parents, because with your dad passing away so quickly after
Which is
Tanner
such a
was
shame
born.
because,
I know
let's
it,
be
it
honest,
would have.
my family, we
I
would have been
know.
doing all that travel. So there's an element
It
of
would
we
have
might
continued.
that those seeds have been planted
Yeah.
in us, and we'll just be the ones that get to
Do
harvest it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I can't even imagine the glory of the trips that we might have taken with my parents had my dad not passed away so early.
yeah, no, I'm sure
So
that we would have.
let's create that glory for our kids. And going back to the bribery thing, hey, as long as we're footing the bill, I bet you
Yeah.
our adult kids,
and it
schedules
may
permitting.
and it may have to be split. We take some this time, some, it may not be able to be a whole everyone goes
Oh
every
my gosh.
time.
I'm seeing like this entourage descending on a medieval city as we go through our travels with the 30-person extended clan.
Talking about them missing their friends, or Tanner missing his girlfriend, but it was interesting. They could stay in constant contact the whole time. I mean,
Yeah, did I even talk to you when I was in Italy? I'm not sure that
no, I doubt it. No way. There would have been no texting or call.
Well, not
no.
texting. No, I meant like a long distance
I
international phone
doubt
call
it.
for 3
I
minutes.
doubt it.
Hey, Clancy, I love you. Hope it's all going on.
No. You were so frugal. Doubt it.
Now, hang on a second. You're calling me cheap. I would have given you a
I didn't
call.
use the word cheap.
Yeah, you did.
I said frugal.
Oh, Lordy. Okay.
Am I lying?
I was wise with finances that allow us to do some of the bougie travel that you like traveling
That is
now.
being frugal.
So I get the insult and you get the benefits of it. Okay, I see how this is. Nice.
So,
All right.
but they could stay in constant contact. And even we, were texting Brady and Brian, Addison's parents, because they were in Vegas. So we were both like going back and forth comparing our trips. And, it's just such a different world now.
We were able to, with our life group, share the little Jesus photos.
Yeah,
Here's
I
little
know,
Jesus in
we-
Spain.
Yes.
We
We had little Jesus in Spain. Someone had little Jesus going to Disney World, and they had little Jesus going to Vegas. So Jesus is everywhere. He is everywhere all the time.
It is Sunday when we're recording this.
So that's been our kickoff to summer and our travel, and I think we're done. The kids have some things planned, but I think you and I are homebound for the rest
We'll
of
get the itch,
the
but
summer until
There's nothing planned.
Yeah, until we move one back to Arizona in August, which will be tons of fun. But you guys share with us what family trips you have coming up, or if you're traveling with your significant other somewhere, drop that in the Facebook community. You can find that at theloudquiet.com, and just tell us where you're headed this summer. And thanks for joining us on The Loud Quiet.